Beena Soul reading a Biella Christmas part 3 point something.
Yes, something.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't know where something is and don't know where to look, start by eliminating where it could not be. We did not know what we are dealing with. I did not want to know any specifics, as that could taint the construction of my parameters. Again, same as Remington, I had the basics, which implied something potentially serious. Well, let's assume the worst and start eliminating, considering Remington's speciality. We'd be looking for an uncaught criminal of the worst kind. We'd be looking for what was so rare that it's considered near impossible. A successful serial killer. Yes, by definition, all serial killers, where it is, okay, are successful until caught. But when one considers and knows the detail, not really. First, we are talking here of someone who kills repeatedly, but separately, not a multiple murderer, such as a spree killer. In one reality of the egg, this means because of the resources available to investigate murders, that considerable time would have to transpire between murders. Please understand, even with the resources we generally have available, investigations take time, usually considerable time. And this is how serial killers are able to kill multiple times, simply because they will get caught for the original murder in time, but the investigations cannot move fast enough. Thus, a successful serial killer in the egg would have to be one with multiple cold cases eventually attributed to them. We might know it's the same individual, but we still need to be stalled on all investigations involving them for them to be successful. This has never happened that we know of. As it happened, I'd been working on a major thesis, the assumption that there could be pattern in non-pattern. We had tons of data on caught killers, but what about those uncaught? What were their patterns? We didn't know. Sense pattern, sense pattern, sense.
Sense. Yeah.
Okay,
Sense without.
sense pattern.
Yeah. In the
Okay,
absence of. Sense means without, in the absence of.
okay. Sense pattern. We assumed murders to be unconnected, but what if they weren't?
Okay. This is a big
Remington
point.
came bulk.
Sorry. This is a big point, right? So they have a bunch of unsolved murders, and they assume because they're unsolved and there's no pattern that
Hmm.
these murders are unconnected,
Yes.
right? But what if they weren't, right? That's actually a
Hmm.
question. This is a major shift in the thinking, because typically that's how they catch serial killers. They find the pattern and they find the unique, they have all these identity things, and typically the serial, at least from the TV. Maybe they don't say it when they're serial killers who truly are random, and these are the most frightening things either, because they're very difficult to catch. But anyway, typical is without a pattern, murders are unconnected, because how do you connect them if there's no pattern,
Hmm.
right? You can't say
Yes.
they're connected, but this is what Neera and Remington now independently are coming to. They are saying the absence of pattern may be pattern.
Okay.
See?
Okay.
See the logic, Beena?
Yes, this is something very interesting.
It's
Okay,
very powerful. Yes. Yes.
yes, because okay, on a side note, I just it was in my news feed on YouTube. There was a test, and they say that at Harvard or Oxford somewhere, maybe it's an entry test for eligibility something, and it was an IQ test. That was really interesting for me because there were two participants there.
I'm sorry, Beena, to interrupt you real quick. I'm listening. I gave you remote control, so if you want to start, once you
Yes,
tell the
yes,
story, you can scroll.
yes,
I'm just going to make food. I'm listening.
yes. And there was the same question, one question only, and they asked two participants at the same time,
Oh,
and they gave them option. Like it was like, okay, there were triangles, squares, and circles, and they asked them,
where is the prize hidden in triangles or gifts or squares or circles. And they asked them, have you reached the answer? And they both were silent. And the second time, again, they were silent. And the third time, it was because they have given each hint to one of them. Like, okay, one, it was about, okay, one, they have given that it's a color, something. And the other one was, it's a shape. And they both were silent. And it was like, okay, a third time, they like simultaneously, they both said, yes, we have found the answer. And I was thinking that, almost feeling like dumb one, that how I cannot do this, figure it out because of the explanation. And this is the same pattern right here, where Remington and Neera, what they are doing before reaching there, before getting any specifics, they are doing their mental processing by eliminating the irrelevant things and just emphasizing on what is relevant. So it is a very profound strategy right there, that even when you don't have anything, any specifics at all, you can still minimize your challenges, at least your challenges. If you cannot fulfill your task, but at least you can minimize the challenges there. And by doing that, you are minimizing your percentage of losing. Yes. So this is something very interesting, because I was just feeling dumb there, like, oh, how can I not just figure it out the way they can think like that, because they were paying attention, close attention to, and not only they were, okay, they were not reading each other's mind, but they were reading each other's silence.
Yes. Interesting.
That was really interesting.
And here, of course, on a very complex level, Remington and Neera is doing the same. They are reading Biella's silence there, not saying thing.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. The implications are profound.
Yes.
Well, at least for Remington, when he did that, the fact that Beena, that Biella isn't saying anything.
Yes.
This that she cannot potentially. Right?
Yes.
Because
So they are reading her silence.
Right. So in other words, Beena, what is the tool that they are using? The dictionary of power tool.
Yes.
Implication, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Implication is a superpower, Beena. Implication, the ability to really look at implications. This is a superpower. And implication, what does this mean, but what could this mean? And specifically, not only what could it mean, because those are hypotheticals, which is not the same as an implication. An implication is, what does this most likely mean?
And this is also like the true friendship essence right there.
Exactly.
Because they are okay, not specifying anything, but also, but on the same hand, like, okay, at the same time, they are also being really, really sure about that this cannot be Biella's thinking. So they are almost sure about what Biella might think. Of course, there is no specific there. But by not saying that, okay, oh, if Biella would say this, or Biella would, no, they're saying that because she is not saying things, so it means it might be this, and they are eliminating things. It's a profound friendship essence right there.
Yes. What's our theme? What's our theme today, Beena? Our theme is assumption of motivation. Yes.
Yes.
So when they look at Biella and they look to imply her behavior, they take this assumption of motivation, and this they know they can absolutely comfortably assume positive, sensible, sober motivation. Biella wouldn't waste their time. Biella wouldn't be trivial.
Exactly. You don't need to know that what your friends actually like, would do. No.
Exactly.
All you need to know that this is something she would not do. or he would not.
Exactly.
That's
You
it.
need to know their inherent character and their motivation.
Exactly. Exactly.
Exactly. Very
This is
powerful.
right.
Very,
This is
very
right
powerful.
there.
Yeah.
If you really want to know that what type of friend you really want in your life,
Exactly.
actually, I must say that need in your life, in anyone's life,
Yes.
this
Yes.
type of friends.
Exactly.
That okay, no matter what, but this is something. No, he and she would not do this, so I can eliminate this thing. Okay.
Yes.
And this is really a trust, capital T trust right there. They are
Exactly.
not saying that, oh, these are specific, though, blah 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 blah. No, but
Yes.
because of their thoroughness, because of being deliberate, because of their paying attention also to each other,
Yeah.
and because of that capital trust, they are almost sure about that this
Exactly.
would not be the case.
Exactly.
And this would
Exactly.
not be the
In other
case is a
words,
big deal.
exactly. In other words, they will tell you, every single new noble will say, if I
Yes.
cannot trust your motivations, you are not my friend. You cannot be my friend if I cannot trust your motivations. Not possible. Not possible. See?
This is so brilliant. So brilliant.
Right?
Okay.
I need to write that down as a quote.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a new nobility paradigm. If I cannot trust your motivations, you cannot be my friend. Right? And that's how I will write it in my quote file.
Yes.
So do me a favor, type it out and put it in chat, and I can just copy and paste, save me a bit of time. Right? If I cannot trust your motivations, you cannot be my friend. That's in quotation marks, and then dash new nobility paradigm.
Okay. If I cannot repeat it.
If I cannot trust your motivations,
Okay. Trust has to be capital.
yes.
Okay.
Or a little, it can be either way. It can be either way, actually. But yeah, actually just regular trust. Yeah.
Okay. If I cannot trust your motivations.
Yes, comma, you cannot be my friend.
You cannot be my friend.
Yeah.
So it's in quotation.
No. Oh, the whole
Okay.
thing is in quotation. Yeah, the whole thing is a quote. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
thought you meant friend. I thought you meant friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
that friend is a capital F friend,
Okay.
right? Because
Okay.
they can be friendly and have a regular little F friend, which is not a problem, right? In this kind of a case, but
New
a real friend, in
nobility
other words, that's a different thing.
paradigm. Okay.
Correct. So it's then it's space dash space new nobility paradigm.
What is the space dot space here?
After the quote,
Okay.
just between the new nobility paradigm and the quote, it's space dash space. I love this, Beena. I love this. Don't worry too much. I can fix up that little bit this time.
Okay. So okay. Right now, I have my cousins there, and it's a big, yeah, at my home. So it's a big property issue going on in the family.
Oh, yeah. Like what, Beena?
Yeah. Okay. Actually, we also could be the part of this property, like inherited this one, but my father never bothered to do that. And so when he didn't do that, it was his. So who we are to say anything about that? But now what happened is that grandson of my uncle is living there, and everybody else is asking that, okay, this is inherited by our mother. It's on our mother's name. So you have to just leave this house and sell it, and then we will get our share.
Or pay rent, either way.
No, they are not asking for paying rent. They are saying, okay, just sell it and give it.
Yeah.
But
you know what? I'm just saying, though, to put that in, because to sell an asset
no,
is
it
never
is.
a good
He
idea.
was living on rent for very long. He is.
And
He
who
is
is he
still
paying
there.
the rent to?
It was before one of my uncle who was in US. So he was paying to him because it supposedly it meant to go to him, like it was like that. But now after his death, it is, of course, it is on mother's name. So now everybody is claiming the inheritance. Yes.
Yeah. And so who owned the property? Your father. And then he died at 20. Your uncle just claimed it. That's what I'm understanding. Yeah.
It was okay. So my father's elder brother, who was his step brother, he actually took all the property of my father. So my father built everything by himself. But he never said anything to his brother because, like, no, he is like my father. He's at the place of my father. I cannot say anything. So, okay, we are just completely out of question in this thing. But other people, they are fighting for. So Mama actually called. They are not talking to each other. It's like big fight now, getting legal and all that. So Mama
wow,
invite.
okay.
Yeah, Mama said, no, this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Instead, just sit and talk to each other.
Huh.
And the cousin who was living in, he was being isolated because no one was talking to him, and he was feeling like, oh, everybody just like, I'm an outcast one here. They're behaving like that. So Mama invited him. So he's here with his family, and Mama was saying, instead of fighting with each other and assuming things, why don't you guys just sit? Mama is planning to invite everyone for dinner.
Oh, good. All right. Oh, very good.
Family
And
dinner.
now they are coming?
Yeah, at least one of my cousin, okay, not right now, but she's planning to do that
Oh,
because they are
I
not
see.
willing. They are not going to arrange such meetings. So Mama is
Got it.
trying to arrange a meeting where they can, okay, nobody will be at their home. So, okay, it's a neutral place. They
Yeah.
can sit and they can talk.
Yeah. Oh, very good, Beena. Very good. So, what is likely to end result of this?
Okay, so my
Owning property?
actually, he was not actually my uncle. He was my cousin because he was Baba's nephew. Okay, yes, my cousin.
So as he died?
Yes, he was in
Oh,
US.
yeah.
He was in US and he married twice. One in US and one here. And he had 4 children. One daughter and son there, and one daughter and son here in Pakistan. And they both was divorced. Okay. And it was American woman he married to. So one of our relative, the son died, I guess, few years back. The US one, but the daughter is still alive, and she married to a Mexican and have children. So she is also coming to Pakistan to claim the property. And the son here with Pakistani mother and daughter, they have filed a case against my cousin. Like, okay, the court is asking everyone to come and just submit their documents that they are the family of my uncle. Yeah. And everybody is trying to avoid the situation. So it's a big chaos there.
Wow. If they go to court, it's probably good for Mama, by the way. Yeah, because essentially, if I understand it, your uncle just laid claim to it and stole it. Yes, or the cousin at least. Yeah. So this then, if they go to court, this will come out, and any of his descendants, they're going to have to prove that this was left to him, and they can't prove it. in the absence of proof, like if your father didn't put that property into the will for mama specifically, and he didn't say it for anybody, right? In the
Yeah.
absence of this, it automatically was going to default to not only mama, but likely to Farouk, actually.
Obvious. Okay, so the story is that my
Either way, I'm
grandfather,
saying either way, it's good for you guys. Yeah.
yeah, so my grandfather was a very rich man. He was a landlord, like having his own estate, but he married twice.
Ah.
He married twice. One with my grandmother, who was a widow, and it was her second marriage also, and she came with a son who was my uncle, my step uncle.
Mm.
And the other one was with some singer, actually. One of my grandmother was a singer, and but my grandfather married to her, but she passed away, and my granny actually took care of her children also.
Oh, wow, interesting. Wow,
Yeah.
complicated stuff, Beena. Complicated
Yeah.
stuff. You can write
but
a soap
but
opera.
yeah, but when my father, he went to his estate there because of my grandfather passed away, so everybody took their whole property and everything, and they didn't allow my father to actually even enter in the state. He could
Wow.
not cross the boundary even.
Wow, but
Even
and
as a
was it
child.
legally in his name though?
Even as a child, they didn't
Wow.
allow. Yeah, it was like, okay, just kill them. If they try to come in,
Yeah, yeah.
just kill them. So that was the thing. So my father, and of course
Whose
my
name
granny,
was this property in when your grandfather died?
of course, my granny and my father, and my uncle also, the youngest one. Yeah.
So,
But
so it was legally in your father's name?
yes, it was because
In
he
his name
was
only or jointly?
no, jointly for sure, because
That's
I have
problematic.
my uncle and my auntie too. So
Right.
it was,
All right. But now, when your father died, at the time of his
yes,
death, were
yes,
the other joint peoples in there? Were they still alive?
yes, my uncle was alive, the main one I told you about. Yeah. Remember, I shared the story. He was younger than my father. So that uncle, he was alive, of course.
See, now that's a problem. If
Yeah.
he was on the title jointly with your
Yeah.
father dies, and whoever else, your granny dies, the
Yeah.
sole remaining one has legal claim.
Yeah, could be, but he didn't claim also. Like my father and my uncle and my auntie, these siblings were like really kind of, I don't know. They never care about property. My father was not like that. He was a very you can say a bit ego also, or he don't want to go into all these nonsense of property fight and all that. So he just created for himself. He says, okay, I don't care about all these things. Okay, I can earn, I can make my things. So he did for himself instead of just taking care of his inherited property. He didn't care
Right.
about that. Yeah.
But the law is very clear. You
Yes.
got three people on the title: your
Yes.
auntie, your father, and who is the third one?
Uncle. Uncle.
The uncle. Right. And so the uncle is the last surviving one to be
Yes.
alive, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Therefore, then the property is his. Yeah.
Yes.
End of story. So,
Yeah.
so is he still alive?
No. No.
Okay. So then, and he's the one in America whose grandson is
No.
living
No.
there.
No. 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 No.
Oh,
No. Yeah.
oh,
No.
oh, oh, okay. So when he died, this American uncle just claimed it.
Actually, no. These they are different properties I'm talking about. So the one was the whole estate, and this one is just a house and a shop. Okay, a very big shop there, which is like very
Okay, but the
expensive one.
property that's in dispute, the property,
Yes.
whose name was that in?
So this property was on the name of this house, and the shop was on name of my uncle's wife. Okay, auntie, but okay, just to be specific. So my uncle, the stepbrother of my father, took all this property also, and he just claimed it and then transferred it to his wife name. And now all his family members, like son and daughters, and of course, like daughter-in-laws and grandsons and granddaughters are fighting over this.
Right. So who owned it?
Actually, the late auntie, my uncle's wife. So this is the
It was in
problem.
her name.
Yes. Now,
Oh, where does your
Uh,
father come into it?
okay, so it was also my father's property. He made this, but
Right,
my
but
uncle just
then how
took
come
it.
it's not in his name?
Yeah, because this is what I'm trying to tell you. My father actually was like that. He just said that my brother is like my father. He's at the place of my father. If he wants something, I'm not going to argue with him. So he gave it everything to my uncle. This is how he did.
Oh,
So he
oh.
was like, I don't know, it might be appropriate at that time. Okay. So my father was like this.
Yeah. Okay. So if it wasn't in your father's name and it was in somebody else's name, well, then you guys don't have a claim to it.
Of course, and we are not interested because my
Right.
father, even if it would be like, okay, some chances, we would not proceed that because my father was not interested in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Like if someone who was actually an owner of it, he was not interested, who are we to get all these things? It's like kind of a like disrespect for us. Okay, maybe, I don't know. Situation might be different if we would have some paper or something like that. Who knows? Yeah.
No. Yeah. So
So
they
my
need to
father,
sort it out. Yeah. No. So your
my
mom is just playing arbiter. Yeah.
yes, my mother is saying that see, this is what happened when you at the beginning, at the very foundation, your intent. Okay, she is using the word intentions are not, or are mal intents actually. You are
Yeah.
snatching from somewhere. Your generations actually suffer
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
fight for you never have any peace and harmony in the family and all these things. So she was telling with us, like, okay, sharing with us that, oh, see what is happening.
The
And
consequences of greed, in other words. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, and then she says that, like, look at you guys. Your father was okay. He might be very rich, but he just said, okay, no, I don't want to do all these things. So now everybody, of course, not only respect him, but also that you guys are completely at peace. Nobody can claim anything. Nobody is cursing you or claiming anything because it's all yours.
But we see, Beena, that
Yeah.
the tragic consequences of lack of organization and discipline.
Oh no, my father was super organized. No,
Oh.
it was all deliberate.
Oh.
No way. No.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, he was completely aware what he was doing and he had all these things. No,
Oh. Okay.
no.
It just sounds like he didn't put things in his name and all this, and it
No,
goes
no,
to
no, no,
waste.
no. He deliberately did that. He says that, okay,
Oh.
my brother wants that. This is how he did.
Yeah.
No. Oh my God. Still, with you, I can count on someone. Like I would ever imagine, like my stepfather also. Amazingly super organized. My
No.
father was like, you would be like really shocked the way he was. Oh no,
Okay.
no. That's why my just fact that Beena, you are a complete disaster for this. Like really. Sometimes he says that.
No.
He said, we can still read our father's books, but yours, sorry. And I said, okay, these are my friends. I just play with them. And he says, seriously, Beena. Oh my God. My father and my stepfather, both. Super nerdy people. What is this?
Trauma.
Oof, why me? Why not one of your friends? Don't believe you could write romance. Oh!
It's astonishing, this childish shit, you know. Sorry, rubbish. It's just amazing. It's like, seriously, come on, you know. I can't share it with you and somebody else. It must only be with you.
Sil and his love fables.
Say again?
Sil and his love fables.
I know, it's just too preposterous, Beena. Anyway, I'm keen to continue. Hang on, let me put the story back up again. I think you've got control anyway, but there we go. All right.
Okay. Never happened that we know of. As it happened, I'd been working on a major thesis. Okay, that's one I have read already, yes?
Yeah. Oh, anyway, Remington, yeah.
Okay, yes. Remington came welcomed and sought, as now I could institute actual investigation into my idea. I trusted Remington had compelling motive working for him. Fine by me. I didn't need such. I was already motivated. What I lacked was resources. Our next recruit, money. Fortunately, Biella had discovered her oldest and longest standing veteran, not only one of the wealthiest, but also most influential people in the egg, the former leader of Biella's origin world, now a power in the egg. We'd increase in his fortune.
By the way, to Biella. Yeah. Just a little bit of, side story, going into backstory. Go into, it's called The Time Before. And the series, the book series, The Time Before, at least the book one of that series, it goes into Biella's childhood and her life with Sylvie Nadar. So Sylvie wakes up in the night thinking that she's had a dream. And in her dream, somebody puts a baby on the door, but she's woken by a knock, right? But she's dreamt this, but she's still woken by a knock, right? And she just assumes, like it happens sometimes, that you hear something and then you build it into the dream, but actually it's happening in reality. So, she hears the knock in the dream, but then she realizes this is also a knock in real life. So she goes and opens the door, and then she sees there's this baby. Now, she investigates, how did this baby come to it? No, there's no cameras, no nothing. It's just impossible, right? I mean, there are cameras, but nothing shows on the camera. So this is a big mystery for everybody. But Sylvie keeps the child. No, she had no interest in children, nothing, but because of the dream, she says, well, how can I not? Well, I have to. So anyway, so that's how Biella comes into Sylvie's life, right? And then Sylvie is this super high-powered consultant who gives advice and to the rich and powerful on that particular world, right? Very similar to the young man's world. And it's just in the process as Biella's growing up. It's in the process of they've made contact with the ag, and they in the process of joining the agglomeration, right? So at the time of Biella, they haven't quite joined yet when she's born, but it's already in process. So one of the people that Sylvie Nadar consults with is the leader of this world, very young, progressive leader, very sharp. And when Biella is 8 and she's not spoken yet, right? Right. And Sylvie because Sylvie's told her that, there's no need to talk. listening is more powerful. And she makes this very, and Biella takes this to heart. She has no need to talk. You could just nod, that's it. She doesn't need to talk. But then one day that Sylvie has an appointment. And typically Beena sits in and listens, if not on camera, but nearby, she's paying attention because this is valuable stuff. And Biella is absorbing all this magic, right? So then this particular day, Sylvie has a very bad case of upset stomach, right?
Diarrhea.
Diarrhea, yeah. Okay. Well, it could be other, anyway, whatever it is, but diarrhea, yes. So anyway, so off Sylvie is on the toilet, and her appointment with the leader is coming on, right? And so she can't be there, and Biella knows this. So man, I forget the story. I forget how it comes about, but it's nicely written. But essentially,
Yes, the guy came in and he sits there and he looked at this girl, 13-year-old, and then he asked her, "What do you think of it?"
right. What do you think of me? He says.
Yes,
what do you think?
And then, yes.
Yes. And so this is the first time Biella now she has to speak because Sylvie can't come. You see, she knows
Yes.
Sylvie's on the toilet and she doesn't want to, say, hey, hang on, because Sylvie can't come. And then she gives him this whole insightful rundown, which blows his mind and changes his career. Yes. Because what she says is not particularly flattering, but it's in that, brutal honesty of the child. Is he? But, she says the positive in with the negative, but he changes. He realizes, oh, my goodness, I thought I'm getting away with this stuff, but not. And then because he changes and becomes really, takes all of her suggestions to heart, it shakes him. He now, in his contact with the agglomeration, of course, through the new nobility, he starts to shift into a really different politician. He doesn't quite become a new noble, but close, right? Yes. But he still stays in politics. And because he has this profoundness of this new nobility perspective, he becomes part of the agglomeration politics and becomes a power in that, right? Because politicians who have a new nobility mindset are rare, right? So, of course, Sylvie Nadar continues to be in contact.
Very rare, actually.
Exactly. Very rare. So it's an unusual combination. And because of this, of course, he now starts to not only consult with Sylvie, but with Biella as well, right? So in the next 8 years, he is in constant contact with Sylvie and Biella, right? And also Biella, of course, is sitting in on all of the sessions with Sylvie, on camera. So some of the other clients occasionally, of course, via him get to hear, and they also want some access to this. So gradually, Biella starts to essentially do Sylvie's job with her, but in a very muted way, because she's cognizant that this is not what she wants to be doing, and she doesn't want to take Sylvie's job. So okay, and she can't do it as well. She's learning, right? Anyway, by the time she gets to be 16. Biella is, of course, very sophisticated, very worldly, because, this is not the only education that Sylvie undertakes. Sylvie takes her golfing and, nature, and, she just gives her a very, very, very thorough education. Very thorough. That's a long story. It's a beautiful story. It's really like the ideal education. So by the time Biella's 16, she's ready for the world. And she does decide, because of the egg at that point, it's 16. This is right when her world joins the egg. So now travel is opened up to the egg, and Biella is one of the first to go off world and explore the agglomeration, right? I mean, this is just an opportunity that you'd never get again, right? To be one of the first explorers from your world. Now, she doesn't care about that. She's just excited to explore. She doesn't care to be the first, but still, it's an opportunity. And that's her story. And so the time before, in other words, is all of not only the story of Sylvie Nadar, those 16 years, which is probably a book or 2 or 3, I don't know, but that's at least its own book. And then, of course, Biella's adventures, like on Golf World, that's Golf with Grace. It's a separate book. They're all part of that series, right? Up until the time that she comes to Nobilia. So anyway, so he's obviously stayed in contact with her, and he's a big wig in the agglomeration, and he's also super wealthy. He was already wealthy back on Biella's homeworld, but because of the whole Golf World thing, he could leverage his wealth really dramatically, right? So because of the betting and everything, you read this. Remember when we read the story, all the bets and all this, right? They're all getting
Yes.
involved there. So, yeah. So he got a substantial part of that wealth. Of course, the majority of it went to Biella and Illumina, who ended up owning Old Glory in essence. But they then transferred it to the woman, right? I mean, technically they still own it, but they gave the woman, power of attorney and all this, so they don't use the wealth. Yeah, but anyway, but they could if they wanted to. So that's why she doesn't use her own wealth, because she doesn't have cash. She's got, assets in theory. She could technically, if she wanted to, legally she could, liquidate them and all this, but it would disrupt the whole world. She doesn't want to do that. So that's why she now gets this patron of hers to bankroll the research. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So it wasn't that line, I fixed it. Fortunately, her oldest and longest standing patron, not only one of the wealthiest, but most influential, the former leader of Biella, is now a power in the ag. We'd become acquainted. This is Neera saying we'd become acquainted through the Old Glory debacle. We actually read this, I think, as Biella
Yes.
had been instrumental in the considerable increases in fortune through leveraging his wealth via that. And here's the line. This is where we left off. We actually left off right here, Beena. Right?
Oh.
Right there is where we left off.
Yes.
You read, right? You read, he wed Biella and loved her also. But my O is very sticky right now on my keyboard, right? So that's what you'd read. You remember? And you said, oh, you remember?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. And it was actually, he owed Biella. It took me a while to figure it out. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Owed Biella and loved her also. It reads perfectly. He wed Biella. No.
This is like very interesting.
Yeah, no, but that O made all the difference in the world, right?
Yes.
He owed Biella and loved her also. We didn't even need to convince him to sponsor us semi-unconditionally, right? Because that's typically, you want to have our sponsors even have lots of conditions, or at the best, you get them to sponsor you semi-unconditionally. We didn't even need to convince him. Under the guise of supporting my research, which he genuinely did like, we could proceed without undue attention. Just another academic with powerful friends, right? You see the quote there? From the world's point of view, Neera is just another academic who's got powerful friends. Yeah. And that's what they wanted people to think, because there are lots of them like this. Yes.
Yes.
So, okay. So it's very cool. Yuri, sorry. I was
Okay. Okay.
Wait the point.
Okay.
It was very important. Did I add the O back in again?
No. It's good. It's good.
I did. Oh, the O is there. Yeah. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Okay.
So you're reading from Meanwhile.
Okay. Meanwhile, broken Biella, things had become dicey for me. Perhaps suspicion, when founded on an undeniable foundation, feeds on itself, enhancing or perhaps changing perception. I began to notice nothings. I began to notice nothings.
Yeah.
What it means?
I keep reading and see.
Okay. I began to notice nothings. Yes, I know that sounds innocuous.
Innocuous, yes.
Yes, innocuous. And it was, but the noticing itself potentially was the problem. I started to become concerned that my nothing noticing would be noticed. By implication, I would only be noticing whatever if and only if I had some reason to do so. Wow. Okay.
That makes sense. Very sophisticated, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So do we know somebody who's noticing nothings right now? Plural.
I do most of the time.
But do we have a specific instance of this?
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Norma is noticing nothing. Yeah.
But I do that on purpose when I really want to. It is okay. Sometimes, of course, undeliberately also could happen. The possibility is there. But if I don't want to notice anyone, I can be completely They don't exist. If I can, if I really want to.
Oh, sorry. I forgot you reading, and it's screen share. Well, anyway.
Wow.
If I don't take care of it, it sits and festers. Yeah. All right, sorry. So this nothing's point. That's why I went back to Norma there now, because you see how she pays attention to it, and you know, I'm paying attention to her nothings, which actually make them into a something. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is it's part of the problem. Unfortunately, it starts to feed on itself. So I now am paying attention to the nothings with the intent to communicate that they are nothings, and that's difficult. That's difficult to do because look, the story has to make sense.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had some reason to do so. Deception was not my nature, but, well, could be Mr. C's. Could be
Yeah.
Mr. C's. Okay. Could be Mr. C's. Yes. Remington's efforts would take time, no matter how, what is the word here? Alacritously. What
Yes, there you
is
go. Alacritously, like as in being
alacritously? What it means?
To do something with high energy and quickly and efficient. So I love alacrity. You know, when you've got high energy and you can get like you get a ton of stuff done in the day, right? And you're doing it with alacrity, which is you're not rushing, you're just able to do it quickly and efficiently. Yeah.
Alacritously. Okay.
Yeah. So that's alacrity. I'm making the word alacritously. See why it's underlined there?
Yes.
You see, they don't recognize it. I'm
Yes.
using this creatively, so I have to add the dictionary. It's a very you know, alacrity is a very powerful word. I love alacrity. It's a very cool word. Very cool word.
Okay. How electrously he moved. I would have to be patient. Not only did I not want anything to be amiss, I could not afford it to be either. I sensed but could not acknowledge that I might soon be in real danger if I
Right.
was
See,
not
now
already.
look at Beena's Biella's sophistication. Right. She
Yes.
says, not only did I not want anything to be amiss, I could not afford it to be either. She's aware of this problem that people don't act until it's too late.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
They ignore. They don't want things to be a problem, so they don't do anything. And then, of course, when it is a problem, it smacks them over the head. So she's taking care of this in both instances. She doesn't want to make it a problem by paying attention to it. If it turns out to be benign, now she's created a problem out of nothing. If it turns out to really be bad, she can't ignore it either, right? So she's looking to get the best of both instances. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Wow.
Try and squirm out of this now. You know, this just drives me crazy. Let's be honest, for crikey's sake, you know. She thinks if she's honest and acknowledges the mistake, I'm going to stop loving her. No. So now she has to justify and rationalize all these things so that it wasn't a mistake, that she wasn't being silly, so that I won't stop loving her. Vicious circle problem. Right?
Mm. Whew. Very interesting.
Oh, hallelujah. Ah. Oh, got to scold a bit and then give love.
Just a minute, sir.
Yeah, no problem. You there?
Yes, I'm here. Okay, so what's going on there?
Oh, I'm just explaining about how I was. The level of insecurity is like off the charts, you know. I tell her I love her every day, and I know I did this. She says, "Oh, she scrolled up, but she couldn't see it." It's there, but no. You hadn't said to me, oh, I was praying for a sign, she said earlier today. I was praying for a sign. And then when I said, yes, I love you, Norma. Okay, this was the sign. But I said, I say it every day for crikey's sake. And I make a point to say it every day. But in her mind, not. I don't
Know your audience.
This is nobility. This is nobility in action, Beena. Sometimes nobility.
But
can
so
be sorry, I just want to
there
make
is
my
something.
Hang on 1 second. I just have a quote for you. Sometimes nobility can be a bit of an onerous charity.
Okay. Listen. The first thing for me, know your audience. Second, because she is in a completely different phase.
Yeah.
She is in a completely different phase. Okay. Second thing is that it's a normal, usual, mundane kind of a behavior, especially for a woman's side.
I know.
And they want to be in relationship. They want to have this exclusiveness.
Yeah.
That's when you say that, so but it is like that. And when you are saying that, okay, I love you, so it is like in her mind, she is getting into that same exclusiveness. You are a different person.
I understand that, Beena. I understand the whole thing. I understand it too.
I personally, for me, if I was thinking about that. Okay, what kind of a person I would love to be in love with? Of course, I don't want anyone who is like completely on my nerves all the time. No, he has to have his own things also. Okay, he could be on a completely different mindset. Yes, I will not be bothered by that unless or until he try to mold me into that, or try to be like, okay, always in my things. Okay, I can enjoy anyone's company if they are real, and of course they have some sophistication into that. By the way, sophistication has nothing to do with nobility and awareness, which is a completely different thing.
Exactly. And that's I'm very, very gratified and pleased and overjoyed to hear you say that. This is very important. It's very important. Correct.
So for me, okay, now Norma has moreness, and of course, everybody has, but she wants that exclusive relationship, which is okay if she wants that. You are not into that. Yes.
What she really wants is to be special.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Exactly. And you made her feel special.
But still, then when she does get to be treated specially, she starts to devalue it because it's not exclusive. It can't be special if it's not exclusive. Her own insecurity says it can't be true. No matter what I do, at some point she's going to find a flaw in it.
Okay. For me, it is like she somehow in her back of her mind, it is always there that it has no future, nothing. So that's why she is trying to have this kind of like upper hand or some superiority thing, that there must be some other excuses for that.
Beena, a big part of this is that she refuses to believe it can be true. It's too fantastic to be true. She's looking for the flaw that will explain, oh, this is why it can't be true. It is the most absolutely idiotic logic.
Did you ever ask her that, okay, how she feels that she is able to have you in her life? Did she have any?
No, it's not. It's too much right now. Maybe at some point. Yeah.
Okay. No, I was just asking in the past if you ever.
Well, there's other factors too. I think chemical factors are influenced here. I mean, she's older. She is, I believe, somewhat something like manic depressive or something like that. She says she's got early onset dementia. She doesn't remember, but she's pretty lucid for the most time. But I do feel that her emotions go into a whole great range of things. So, I do feel that there's some kind of a chemical component involved.
Okay.
All right. Anyway,
Okay.
so I'll watch this here. When I put it like this, that's not what I want.
Okay. Not being aware of it, but sometimes people leverage this type of conflicts to leverage their energy.
Yeah, that could be too. Absolutely. Okay, so let's continue. Beena. I'm watching it here. I can see if it comes. So yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they are just in lack of energy, and they create something to charge up there.
Yeah, I don't want to get too stuck on Norma because I know what's going on. It's just now management. Like I said, sometimes nobility is a bit of a chore. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing you can do about it. That's why it's noble, because if it was nice and fun, it's extra bonus goodness. It takes effort to do, and it's not always fun. That's why it's noble, because it isn't fun. Yeah. If it was fun, it wouldn't be noble necessarily.
Okay. Okay. So.
But I like this point though, right? This point of where Biella says that not only did I not want anything to be amiss, I could not afford it to be either. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I sensed but could not acknowledge that I might soon be in real danger if I was not already. If the worst was real, yet I had to wait. I had to wait to eliminate matters definitively, one way or the other. Once I knew I could act, but not until then.
Right. You see, I italicized this if here, right?
Yes.
Right. That I might soon be real if I was not already. If the worst was real. She doesn't know yet. Right.
Yes.
It's very important to stress that in Biella's mind. She also doesn't want to make it real by insisting it is real.
Okay. Knowing I was in the danger zone, yes?
Yes.
Knowing I was in the danger zone, if it actually were one, only aggravated matters. We were in a race for time and maybe didn't know it. I, on the other hand, knew Biella. I, on the other hand, knew Biella was in danger, said Remington. The moment I did that research on Mr. C was mentioned with some attention of his status, I knew. I cannot say exactly why or how, other than all my experience simply screamed at me. Why? You may ask. Why, you may ask, had absolutely nothing to go on. Exactly. That's exactly what screamed at me. That absolute nothing. Excuse me. The absence of suspicion was suspicious in the extreme. In the extreme to me. Seems Neera and I had independently been converging on the same understanding, I guess. In retrospect, it should have been obvious.
Yeah, I want to add something. Yeah, I want to add something here.
Yes.
Why, you may ask, you had absolutely nothing to go on. Exactly. That's what screamed at me, that absolute nothing. And then I want to add in.
Yeah.
And well, also an anomaly. Yes?
Okay. Now it is a different thing now.
Yeah, you see?
Yes.
Because, yes, he's got technically nothing. For everybody else, there's nothing. But for him and for Biella, there's that anomaly. They cannot ignore an anomaly, right? See?
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't detract from the rest, but this is just adding in the way of impeccability, attunement, new nobility logic. Yes.
Yes.
Maybe I should put this in brackets. Yeah. Where he says it kind of where he says it as a sort of an aside. You know what I mean? So
yes.
That's exactly what screamed at me. That absolute nothing, and well, also an anomaly. The absence of suspicion was suspicious in the extreme. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Because it's in brackets, he's saying it like now I'm saying it after the fact. At that moment in time, I wasn't necessarily thinking of the anomaly, but it's not that I was ignoring it or I'd forgotten it. It was in my brain, percolating and making connections and forcing me to make connections I wouldn't otherwise have made, right?
Yes.
Okay? So it's in brackets, it's very cool there. It's very cool there. You still should have control. Can you scroll? I mean, you might have to click somewhere first and then scroll. Just click in any space, Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Page down instead of line down.
Yeah, but it's still okay. Because it was not going smooth. So I said, okay.
Right. But I mean, instead of going one line at a time, go just slightly higher and go one page at a time.
Yeah, but it was getting more scrolled.
Right. It does a page at a time. See, now you're right there in the place you want to be, aren't you? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. The absence of suspicion was suspicious in the extreme. In the extreme, to me, seems Neera and I had independently been converging on the same understandings. I guess in retrospect, it should have been obvious. It should have been obvious.
Yeah.
You see, continued Neera, all our spare time we spent on studying unsolved cases. We knew them all. There weren't that many which had possibility of still alive perpetrators.
Yeah.
We'd been staring at the absence of suspicion for a long time, our brains immersed in them. That level of immersion, when combined with an intent to resolve, will eventually arise with solution. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excuse me for this coughing anyway, but this thing, the problem is not focus. We can focus because focus can just come and go. Yes. Why you always miss O in joy?
My O sticks.
Yes.
My O doesn't always type, you see. Yeah.
I observed that it is happening. And why?
I just thought now, because I've seen Norma typing for a long time there, so I'm going to get a long story. So I want to be preemptive, so that maybe she doesn't post, doesn't need enter on this long story that's coming. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is very interesting. I was saying that it gives a bit of, it just highlight that the difference between focus and immersion for me.
Exactly.
When you are immersed into something, it is a constant. It is a permanent thing.
Exactly.
And then the focus, yeah, of course, you can focus for temporary. You can come and go, and it can change in variation. It can come, but the immersion is something. Once you immerse into that, you cannot miss anything from that. You are immersed into that. Whatever you are immersing, it can be just aspect of something, so not the entirety. So whatever aspect of any perspective or any idea or anything you are immersed into, you cannot miss or forget anything even later on. Focus is something, yes, of course, it's a big thing, but immersion is the key. And once you are immersed, as she says there, Neera, that our brains are already immersed into looking for nothingness there. So it's easy. It's really super easy for them to pick out things like editing, because your brain is into that once you were immersed into. So it's a constant thing.
This she doesn't understand. She talks about love all the time, but she's very clueless when it comes to love. For her, love is a contract. Yeah, yeah. I really feel that, Norma, when she's happy, she makes a difference. It's amazing, you know. But she goes to these extremes, very much like somebody who's manic or bipolar or whatever, I try and stay away from the terminology. All right. Okay. So where were we there? I guess in retrospect, it should have been obvious. Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
You see, continued Neera, all our spare time. No, it was immersed in them. That level of immersion, when combined with an intent to resolve, will eventually arise with solution, or at the very least, ideas of possibility. Unsolved cases are not necessarily cold cases. Truly unsolved open cases had no leads, nothing to go on. Many cases died because probability could not be converted into certainty. The system could not deliver closure for some reason, and so on. The cases in which there are no suspect whatsoever are actually rare across the egg. With all the tools at our disposal, murder had become extremely difficult to perpetrate without leaving any clues whatsoever. This fact had been knitting away in our subconscious. This is where it is now.
Sorry, I just had to change that. Truly unsolved open cases. She's meaning cold cases.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
We're
it
down
is-
here somewhere. I don't know exactly.
So it is still cold cases.
Yeah.
So are you going to change it?
Where do I need to change it?
From the top, it is fifth one.
Okay, let me
Fifth
read the whole
line.
thing and say where.
Okay.
You see, continued Neera, all our spare time was spent studying unsolved cases.
Just good. Just go down. Yes. Now one more line down.
We'd been
Down.
we'd been
Truly
staring at,
unsolved cold cases. You are at second.
That's what I
Yes.
changed. It used to read open cases.
Okay.
That's what I changed. It was truly
Okay.
unsolved open cases, but it actually is, or open cold cases, but that's a cold case is by definition closed.
Okay.
You see?
Okay.
Yeah.
Subconsciouses. Okay. In our subconsciouses. And by then we had a brace of comforters to wrap our unresolved cases in.
Read that whole sentence again. Read that whole sentence again.
Okay.
This fact.
This fact had been knitting away in our subconsciouses. And by then we had a brace of comforters to wrap our unresolved cases in. Yes.
Yeah, I thought you didn't quite click it in the first time because you were focused on the words. The meaning didn't get there. It's a creative way of saying it, no?
Yes. And I like it.
Yeah.
They simply needed a trigger. The necessity to investigate completely under the radar turned out to be that spark we needed, the most unobvious lever.
Yeah. The necessity to investigate completely under the radar turned out to be that spark we needed. So it's kind of a big statement there. It's pretty cool. It's very, very cool.
Yes.
Okay.
I had to move Remington as if starting his internal motor once again. I felt the pressure.
I love it when you enjoy my alternative ways of saying things. Yeah. Gives me great joy. Yeah. Yeah. See, you have to just click somewhere to resume control. Yeah.
Once finances and cover had been established, my path was open. I contacted close friends, all also, and also,
All also.
okay, all also who Biella had befriended. I mean, real, deep
I think
friends.
this is supposed to be whom Biella had.
Okay, whom Biella had befriended. I mean, real, deep friends, not just acquaintances. A core had developed on Old Glory. I now tapped it. I didn't share Biella's involvement at first. No need. Later, then I'd need that trust. Our plan with looking into all open, unsolved cases involving women. We both felt this to be prudent, this to be.
1 second. We looked into all unsolved, not open. They can be closed also. Right?
And yes, and this to prudent. To be
yeah.
a.
Yeah. This to be a prudent starting selection. Yeah.
So are you typing or am I supposed to
Oh,
type?
no, go ahead, read. That's fine. I can type while you read. It's all good.
Okay. To be a prudent starting selection. If Biella was in danger and the worst, then likely women were a pattern. We knew this meant nothing but a place to start. I had my contacts in different parts of the egg. All work completely independently. All work completely independently of each other.
Working.
Yes, that was not making sense.
Yeah,
Yes.
there we go.
Yeah. All working completely independently of each other, and each framed their investigation via disparate
Yes, disparate.
parameters. Oh, okay.
Yeah, in other words, very separate.
Yes.
Okay, so separate implies the same thing but separated.
Yes.
Disparate means they are completely different and there's a disparity.
Yeah.
Nothing common. Yeah, it's a cool
Yes.
word. Cool word, right?
Yeah. Yes. Disparate parameters. We couldn't be too careful.
Yeah.
The refinements, that's where matters differed substantially, and our new theories could now be applied. We taken a leaf from the young man, actually, Biella. Huh?
From the young man, actually Biella.
Okay. We taken a leaf from the young man. Actually, Biella just struck me. Actually, Biella just struck me. We never mentioned this back then.
Yeah, he's coming to an awareness now.
Yes.
That they've taken a leaf from the young man, but actually it was a leaf from Biella. And it just struck him now. We never mentioned this back then. But, Biella and the young man are, of course, they're very conjoined, it's like, and this is part of Biella's thing. She realizes that she's found her soul in the young man, you see, and it's a big deal for her. Yeah. 1 second, Beena. 1 second.
Yes.
Let me just, I thought somebody else is messaging me. So this is Preeti. So, okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. And I'll just tell him.
It is also well and truly involved. Okay, on Zoom. Okay, we can continue with this tomorrow.
No. Absolutely not.
The post is making people having conversation. Yes, but okay, for what? Okay.
What's that?
That Preeti's post you shared with me, you were telling me about.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, there's no way I'm going to stop this for I mean, this is something inconsequential. Okay.
Oh, how so? Philosophy of opposite. Remington grinned at the obviousness. Yes, of course. A lot. The key to our entire operation. Neera emphasized. We instructed the investigations to filter out all factors relating to the woman, other than they were women. We had operated on the assumption that women were randomly chosen,
Yeah.
an approach contrary to established procedure, which looked
Sorry, this must just be we operated. Yeah.
okay. We operated on the assumption the women were randomly chosen, an approach contrary to established procedure, which looked for any pattern it could. We were looking for the absence of pattern as the pattern.
Yeah.
Next, we eliminated any other factors which would easily have been attributed via random selection of some kind. A premise the killer understood our methodology and would strive to be as random as possible. Finally, we focused on those factors which would necessitate some choice. Here we had two potential paths. One, we'd find some pattern. Two, we would not. Either would be something. Our search covered the entire egg and even some planets, not members, but who shared criminal databases. Another assumption, our killer had means and resources, and part of the pattern would be a random distribution of words. Remington may have influenced this some by his prior knowledge. However, we had to think beyond the usual. We had to assume the preposterous, another assist. We had to assume the preposterous, another assist from the young man. We had to imagine nothing would be too much trouble or too expensive.
So that we had to assume the preposterous, another assist from the young man. So this is a big deal. Again, part of understanding superiority paradigm is that sometimes you have to assume the preposterousness. And the preposterous, our brains are a little bit geared to not assuming there can be that something preposterous. For most good people, preposterous behavior simply doesn't exist. It's too preposterous, so it doesn't exist. And again, look at the story, right? Their story of how the world works does not include the possibility of preposterous. So when they encounter it, they rewrite the story and they contort everything in order to make a story work without it being preposterous. See? Make sense, Beena?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Remington's frown of concern reshaped his face. The bear, now on a mission. Research as slow. One would assume via the com, it's just a matter of entering what you want and pursue. And presto. Presto. What it means by presto?
Awesome. One would assume via the com, it's just a matter of entering what you want, and presto, like when the magicians, they go,
okay. Oh,
presto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
hey,
yes,
presto.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, what you want and presto. Results. Reality, unfortunately, can be a startling crimp of exuberance. Data
That's a
needed
beautiful
entering
statement, right?
programs.
Reality,
Yes.
unfortunately, be a comma there, can be a startling crimp of exuberance. You know what a crimp is, yes?
Yes.
I mean, probably you've had a crimping shears or a crimping iron, right?
Yes.
Right. So reality, unfortunately, can be a startling crimp of exuberance. I think that's a great little sentence, is it not?
Yes. Data needed entering, programs writing, permissions obtained, etc., etc., etc. I didn't need haircuts during that time, every day increasing Biella's risk, if there was actually something to all of this.
Right.
But
So he was doing a Beena there, right? He was doing a Beena there, yes?
Yes.
You get, I love that. I just want to check that these things are somewhat obvious when you say, I didn't need haircuts during that time. I'm assuming some people will think, what the hell is his haircuts got to do with this? But he's indirectly saying he was pulling his hair out, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then luck took pity. Mr. C had to take care of a major unexpected business calamity and would be away and engaged and in the public eye for a few months.
Yes.
We had time for a break. Yes. Fortuitous in the extreme. Yes, fortuitous in the extreme, as I'd not like to think it a product of intent. The calamity had been unkind to many. I did not think I could avoid a discussion with Mr. C much longer.
Oh, this I have to put in. This is Beena.
Okay.
Yes, fortuitous in the extreme. I don't want to just say Biella said, or Biella continued, Biella added, Biella, I don't want to say embellished either. Um, oh, 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 oh.
Oh. Oh my God.
I don't want to read there right now. Okay. So, Biella, yes, fortuitous in the extreme. What is Biella doing here now? She's adding, she's continuing, she's interjecting. But
No,
again, interjecting's a bit
no,
rough.
she is like, okay, Biella confirms.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, she's extending really. She's not just confirming; she's extending because she's going to add a bit more to it, as you'll see now, right? Yes, it's
Okay.
lucky, but there's also a little bit more. Right. So, okay, keep going. Yeah. So let me
Okay.
read it again.
Yes, fortuitous in the extreme, Biella extended. As I'd not like to think it a product of intent that calamity had been unkind to many, I did not think I could avoid a discussion with Mr. C much longer. My honesty and openness would be a problem.
Okay, sorry, I want to go
needed-
back to that sentence, Beena. Biella says something very profound here, right?
Mhm,
This, yes.
mhm,
So look, he has to go away. An unexpected business calamity took
mhm.
Mr. C away, right? And she says,
Yes,
yes, fortuitous in the extreme, as I did not like to think it a product of intent. That
yes,
calamity had been unkind to many. Yes.
yes,
So she doesn't want to
yes,
think that they intended this fortuitousness because, well, if they had intended it and it resulted, the calamity had been unkind to many. So she just
yes,
wants to think of it as being fortuitous. End of story. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So it just shows her kindness or her nobility. Yes.
yes,
But she doesn't exclude it as a
yes,
possibility. Yeah. So it's an
yes,
honesty again, and integrity, right? It's a very, very, very cool sentence there. Yes. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I needed resolution, one way or the other. I held fast to my lifelong principle, giving the benefit of the doubt, capital T trust, strategy, and not ignoring anomalies, honesty, and personal integrity essential factors. Are essential factors, yes?
No,
Yeah,
no,
were
no,
essential.
just honesty and personal integrity. You could say comma, essential
Yes.
factor. Yeah, but I don't need to say
Yes.
the comma, right? Yeah.
Okay.
You're just
My
saying these
impact.
are essential factors. It's just a shorter way of saying it. So you could say, yes, are essential factors. We don't always have to say it, right? If I say, okay, look here, let me read it, then you'll hear. Giving the benefit of the doubt, capital T trust, strategy, and not ignoring anomalies. Honesty and personal integrity, essential factors. It's an abstract overall statement, see?
Yes.
Yeah.
My impeccability paramount, but increasingly difficult to balance. I could travel freely again and avail the opportunity to meet with Neera and Remington. Every few weeks, I'd stop by and check on progress.
Yeah. Also, that leaving out the whatever you call it, the R or the were, when it's not when you really can leave it out, it's not either way is okay. Like in this case, it's also
Okay.
part of Biella's style. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So voice a little bit here. Yeah. So and also it's my writing. I like to do that. Yeah, yeah.
Sooner than expected, thankfully, results came in, continued Neera. We found nothing. We laughed and danced with joy. Not because of what you might be thinking. We'd been correct in our basic premise. This is very interesting.
Yeah. Now
Just
keep going, keep going. The
no,
next
just
line. My answer is in anticipation of the next line here. Sorry, my excitement. What happened? Keep going, keep going.
coming.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay. Wow. Oh.
Let me come back to this. Again,
Yes,
assumptions. Assumptions that she upsets me. She doesn't. Come on, Norma, Anyway.
Okay.
All
That
right. So the next
nothing
line.
was,
Yeah,
yes,
that thing was suspicious.
yes. Okay, that nothing was suspicious in exactly the same way as when people try to imitate random distribution. Always it's too even. Reality is messy, especially when it comes to random. There are clumps and bumps, imbalances and distortion. Once we pared down the database, we found a conspicuous, yeah,
Uh-huh.
set of murders, which we do,
Which
which
were
were two, which were two,
too neat.
yes, which were too neat, too random, too disparate. Now the tricky part, Mr. C, as soon as we did any
No.
piece.
Now the tricky part, Mr. C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the tricky part, Mr. C. Okay, just a minute, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
No. Huh? क्या कह रहे हैं? हाँ, 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 ठीक, हाँ, 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 मतलब ये किसी ने झूठ फैलाया. झूठ बोल दिया. हाँ. 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 सही. हाँ. होगा क्या? हाँ. हाँ. मगर कामरान कर देगा. सामना कर देगा ना. हाँ. एक साल का बच्चा था, वो उसे घर से निकाला था. उसे घर से निकाल दिया, उस पलट के कभी कुछ नहीं, वो ऊपर थूक देगा मामलों से. अभी $50 भी भेजो जी, ठीक है. इस वक्त मुझे मंदिर नहीं आया, मैं तब भी
भी पैसे ले रहा था, लेकिन मेरी शादी पे मामू ने वो पीटी शूज पहन के आया और डब्बे में रेलगाड़ी लेके कौन आता है, नदी अपने उस पे टिकट पे।
मगर वो तो खत्म कर देगा,
मैं तो तब भी दे रहा था,
वो खत्म
6
कर
महीने पहले दिए।
क्या
कह रहा मैंने 6 महीने पहले बोल दी, नहीं मामू का शनाख्ती कार्ड वो सब कुछ बनवा के दिया उसे।
हाँ तो वो तो करेगा, वो करेगा।
कह रहा मुझे तो मेरे दोस्त नहीं होगा,
अच्छा
हो नहीं सकता क्योंकि डायरेक्ट नहीं है ना, वो डायरेक्ट वापस नहीं करेगा, तो नाम थोड़ी का नहीं भाई, तो चक्कर में दे कि फाइल बन गई, फाइल नहीं है ना,
केस कर देगा, कोई भी सेल नहीं कर सकेगा, खाली करवा के सील कर देंगे।
साल बाद केस जो है ना तो खत्म हो जाएगा।
नहीं तो वो तो सील करवा देंगे।
नहीं हमारे ये कह रहे हाँ, अगर तो कोई जाता है
हाँ
तो किसी बंदा होता चला जाएगा,
हाँ
फिर ना ये बेच सकती है
हाँ
तो क्यों मुझे कोई निकाल नहीं सकता,
हाँ
मैं डायरेक्ट वारिस नहीं हूँ,
हाँ हाँ
डायरेक्ट वारिस नहीं हूँ, ना मैं खिलाफ उसकी किया
हाँ
तो पहले तक ही नहीं है,
हाँ
उसको ये करके इसमें हिस्सा चाहिए,
हाँ
कहते मैंने हिस्से दार को
हाँ
तो अम्मी का जो बनेगा
हाँ
और जो मेरा पैसा वो दे दो।
पैसा क्यों देगा कोई, पैसा नहीं देता कोई भी।
नहीं तो जो लोग जो पैसे तुम मान चुके हो कि हमने लिए वो तो दोगे ना।
हाँ
हमारे घर में सामने बैठ के खा के घर तुम्हारा दुकान में डील करके निकलेंगे, ये बात है ना, मैंने आप मुसलमान हैं, आपको नाम मैं पाचन कर रहा हूँ। जो मुझे कितनी जानते कितनी साथ होती है
कौन गया?
मैं बैठा हूँ घर खुला है,
हाँ
मैंने 20 साल में कोई फाइल नहीं बनी, मेरी फाइल बन जाती है,
हाँ
मुझे ले जाके नानी माँ की कब्र पे से तारीख दे करके चाहे उसकी लेडी के पॉइंट के बाद में
हाँ
फाइल को छोड़ा
हाँ
नहीं हुआ,
हाँ
गाली में नानी होती नहीं,
हाँ
लेकिन तुम आके मुझे ये कहो कि डायरेक्ट कोर्ट में जाओ, मैंने बिठा के बात की थी ना,
तो ये लोग थोड़ी गए, वो गए
ये लोग अब राशन बाकी झगड़ा किया ना
क्या?
ये कि तुम के बच्चे से
तो ये बातें उनको पता किसने बताई, किसने गलत, ये पूछो ना, उनको गलत बात बताएंगे तो यही कहेंगी फिर।
मेरा नाम खराब करना आते
तो तुम्हारा कहाँ से खाते बैठे, तुम्हारे तो मैंने ले लिया था, इन लोगों के दिमाग से निकलती नहीं है बात। दुकान भी थी, गाड़ी भी थी, अब वो बनता तो है ना, कह दिया वो अलग बात है, बनता है, मसला यही है। तो करते क्यों नहीं? नहीं है, कोई लेके बैठा हुआ है। Yeah. Yeah. हमारा phone बंद है।
I'm here, Beena.
Okay, so we will continue tomorrow then.
Oh, we can't read a bit more?
Yeah, because
I'm
we are.
finished here. I just want to finish this whatever we're on. I'm finished here. I'm finished here. I'm finished here. Okay. Okay. So yeah, where were we at? Okay. Yeah, somewhere over here. I don't remember where.
Okay.
Oh yeah, as soon. Yeah.
As soon as we did any searches involving him, we'd be running severe risk of him finding out. Most people in his position have automatic electronic and personal screens in place to alert them of just search surgeries. Not because they are criminals. No, not because they're criminals,
There you
just
go.
part of high attention precautions.
Right. So do you see the difference between a contraction
Yes.
and not? The
Yes.
uncontraction is sticky. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah. Went a long way around.
Okay. Not because they're criminals, but just part of high attention precautions. Instead of searching immediately for him and where he was, we instead went the long way around, compiling databases of everyone who'd been in range of these murders. Of course, these are huge databases. We obscured our interest in obscure academic queries relating to the general psychologies of populations affected by such murders and so on. All legitimate research, just not ours just then. What?
Look how clever they are, right?
Oh,
Saying we obscured our interest in obscure academic queries relating to the general psychologies of populations affected by such murders and so on. So Mr. C is going to be in a population where a murder occurred. And they
yes.
are studying the psychology of people affected by the murder, not looking for a murderer.
Yes.
So he's part of this. So, and of course, too, this is the overall, but he doesn't see the overall yet, just in some places. Now, in other places, it will be other things, right? So they're obscuring this in some way. And across the entirety of the egg, there's a search going on, but he doesn't know it because each search is being done independently, right? In each sector with the different investigations, right?
All legitimate research, just not ours, just them.
Yes.
Now we had to go sneaky. We had to get sneaky. Now we had to get sneaky. Remington's grinned. A part of investigation I actually enjoy. Well, not sneaky, but cunning. Yeah, I guess the same. Dang it. I mean the strategy and planning so on.
He gets himself caught up in his own words a little bit, right?
Yes.
He knows it's not what he means, but he's not able to express. That's actually quite difficult to do, by the way, in writing what I did there. In real life, you hear people say this, right?
Yes.
He doesn't mean to say sneaky, but it's the closest word he can find. As he says it, he realizes it's a bit inappropriate. He tries to correct and he doesn't quite get it right, right?
Yes.
It's very realistic, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dang it. I mean the strategy and planning and so on, using one's wits. I went undercover, first taking a long overdue leave, then going on a remote meditation trip. From there, I had a long overland and very difficult track so I could disappear to connect with all the members of the team. Of the team, on the team.
Of the team, yeah.
Okay.
In disguise.
In disguise, I needed to collect those individual databases so we could run them all together, run them disconnected to the com. That was crucial, and run them on the massive, sophisticated computers at Neera's institute, and do so after hours with those computers disconnected from the com. That was going to be tricky. See, the same com crawlers, the large search engines used, have over time either been developed or stolen by the super wealthy for their own personal uses and set
set to, set so, no, and set uses and set
and
to
set so.
and set to search for anything related to them,
Okay.
or scan. I think I've used search already as set to scan. So let me put set to scan for anything related to them. Anything else? Now we don't think of this, right? So you know what a crawler is, right? Google, the crawlers.
Okay,
Like
for me,
yeah. Okay, so let me put another SEO. When I set up my website, I need to put terms in my website because Google, the crawlers, these are automated programs. They crawl through, that's why they're called crawlers. They crawl through your entire website, each and every single word of it. And then they pick up words that are repeated, words that are emphasized. They pick up when you put something in a heading, right? And the different kinds of headings, those get categorized. So through this, they can see what your site is about and what's important. So when they need to go and search for something, they say, oh yeah, we've already searched this. They've crawled your site. They've actually, my website is somewhere sitting on a Google server somewhere, right? So they don't have to come back and search for it. So now, of course, that technology that Google has, Google will do everything to protect that. But over time, sooner or later, somebody's going to steal that technology or develop their own. Because can you imagine how powerful and valuable that would be in a company or a private individual's hands?
Yes.
Yeah? Because now, yes, Google, the intent that they search is they just simply want to have it recorded what's there so that it's already indexed, so that when a search is there, you can do it quicker. Your hard drive, your computer does the same thing, right? Your own, it can index your hard drive and then it makes it quicker to do a search on your own hard drive. But now, if you are like Mr. C, super high value in the eye celebrity, you want to crawl these again legitimately to have anything that's got your name and anything of it. So if there's on a website and it's very negative and threats and all this, you pick it up very quickly. You've got psychological programs that analyze. Even when it's a benign thing, supposedly, is this maybe, passive aggressive? Is there a deeper thing? And so on and so forth, right? So this is a very legitimate preemptive strategy. Yes, makes sense, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is good security and also prudent business practice. And of course, extremely handy should one happen to be a criminal. Oh,
yeah.
And of course, extremely handy should one happen to be a criminal.
Yeah.
After adventures of my own, for another time, I managed to be at the institute before Mr. C's return. With some time to spare, the big moment, after engaging in a bit of questionable misdirection when it came to disconnecting the computers from the comp, we finally ran the databases. The result? Nothing. What disappointment. No names were common. This,
Those.
okay, those which were easily accounted for and eliminated. And so on and so on. What a letdown. We could not even clear Mr. C at this point. Neera also knew.
Yeah, no, it's a full stop there. We could not even clear Mr. C. At this point, Neera also knew. All right, so I'm doing a little bit of trickery, yes, right? So the previous time, they found nothing. They were dancing with joy, remember?
Yes.
This time, it's a disappointment.
Yes.
So it's just me saying, things aren't always going swimmingly and fantastically. Sometimes they went against the people, right?
Yes.
But I'm saying, though, we could not even clear Mr. C. At this point, Neera also knew. She knew about Mr. C. Yeah, in other words, right? Right.
Yes.
So, okay.
Remington was so...
hang on. Sorry. I went too far. Oh, come on. I'm trying to get it right. There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this is Neera speaking, obviously, right?
Yes. Remington was so down. He'd been so sure I must confess, I'd been infected with his enthusiasm. Then
Now look
Biella
here,
had
Beena, I don't say Neera. You know, most people would say Neera picked up the story, Neera continued or whatever. You know, Remington was so down, Neera said, I don't need to. She's mentioning his name and Biella's name, and it's only the three of them right now talking, yes?
yes,
I don't need to say it. It's okay. No, that's just, I just feel that's good writing, no?
yes. Remington was so down. He'd been so sure. I must confess, I'd been infected with his enthusiasm. Then Biella had a brainwave. We are looking for where he might be, where he is. But let's look at where and when he isn't. Again, that reverse search. We'd have to risk the comp for this under the guise of.
1 second. The tense is wrong, unless I put it in quotation marks, right?
Okay.
So look, I'm using single quotation marks inside the double quotation marks. So it's obviously Neera speaking, then Biella had a brainwave. We're looking for where it might be. See, now it's Biella's brainwave. In other words, this is her quote from speaking in the present tense. Neera would have to say, we'd been looking for where. She'd have to put it in past tense. See?
Yes.
She can't say we're. So to put it
Yes.
this way, and it makes it a little bit, you know, more brings Biella into it and in making it a quote. Yes?
Yes. Okay. We are looking for where he might be, where he is, but let's look at where and when he isn't. Again, that reverse search. We'd have to risk the comp for this under the guise of high profile celebrities at risk. We searched where all such were of the span of time of our database of victims. A touch suspicious, but the time period was sufficiently long. Mr. C, a good deal older. Huh? What it means?
Yeah. Right. Okay. So let's see again here. We searched where all such were of the span during the span of time. We searched where all such were during the span of time of our database of victims. We all were for the span of time. Sorry. For the span of time of our database of victims. A touch suspicious, but the time period was sufficiently long. I need to put a comma here. Mr. C, a good deal older. So in other words, Mr. C is not Biella's age. So he's a good deal older than Biella, and the database therefore is over a long period of time. It's not just a short period of time. See? Otherwise it would be suspicious. Yeah.
Okay. The inclusion of both when and where yield a complex map. We could simply search for Miss For. Okay.
Okay.
Search for at the end of this.
Yeah.
Search for Mr. C. That would be instant alarm and likely many problems. Even if completely innocent, we'd be targeted with legal information requests demanding to know what we're up to. The genius was to search for where these individuals weren't, for their absence.
You see the cleverness, right? If they search where they think Mr. C would be, then they would get this legal, the lawyers would be, hey, why are you searching for Mr. C? What are you up to, right? And they'd be involved in that. And obviously the laws are such that if you do intensive research on somebody, they're entitled to know what you're up to, right? I mean, it just seems to make sense to me, at least in the ag law, right? This is very sophisticated. So, but now the genius was to search for where these individuals weren't. I can know where you are by eliminating where you are not.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Should I put that in for the absence?
Yes.
Like this. My O again. Dang. Oh. I'll put it in italics, right?
Yes. I can know where you are by eliminating where you're not.
Right now, I like this quote because this actually applies also not just physically, but intellectually, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, philosophically, psychologically. Yes, very profound statement.
Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Ah, dang it. From colon, hearing more. See, now it's from a work called Hearing More. Yes?
Yes.
How cool is that, Beena? You like that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. 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 So she's quoting from this. It's very cool. Very cool. Okay.
Okay. So on location, we had nothing. However, when it came to time, supernova, many of the individuals on our list all of a sudden cease to exist for periods of time. It's difficult, extremely, to actually disappear for long, simply too much checking and counter checking.
Yeah.
Simply too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Simply too much checking and counter checking. Of course, many in those positions wanted to get away from it all. Typically, the press had an idea but couldn't prove it. Thus, they'd be missing. But everyone knew they were missing. We refined the search. When these individuals were where they were supposed to be, were they in fact there? We checked for actual confirmation. Again, our list shrunk considerably. Finally, we matched the time of the murders to those on the list when we knew no one knew for sure where they were. Again, the list shrank, and at last we had something. We did not have anyone of our potential suspect who was on planet at the time of the murder.
Yeah. Was on who was
Planet.
on planet at the time. Yeah. Yeah. Time
Of
of the murder.
murders, and not even more than
One or two.
one or two, but what we did have conspicuously in the reverse, someone was not anywhere at the time of most of the killings. Mr. C. We had him. Yes?
Yeah. Okay.
But
Okay. So I need to emphasize this, right? So this is a double emphasis. But what we did have conspicuously in the reverse, someone was not anywhere at the time of most of the killings, Mr. C. Right? So they
Yes.
cannot say he was somewhere, but conspicuously, he wasn't actually anywhere. You couldn't prove that he was anywhere at the time of the murders. You see the logic here, Beena?
Yes.
It's completely unobvious, but ridiculously potent. Yeah. So they cannot prove that he was anywhere near the murders, right? But they can also show, right, that they cannot say for sure where he was. So he wasn't, there's no proof that he was near the murders, but he also doesn't have an alibi. See? At least in terms of we know he was elsewhere, which is an alibi. See? So the two things are together. Now imagine if you, okay, well, it comes up in the next thing. All right, keep going.
Oh, sure. I mentioned you and me both in a comment.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
Mr. C. Yeah, they were Mr. C.
Mr. C. We had him, but only in the most unprovable of unprovable. Provable, you have this
provable ways. Yeah.
unprovable ways. We could say he was definitely not anywhere near the murders, but not anywhere anyone knew either. This, of course, for any court would not even make it to a charge. Yet, in all the data, only one matched this reverse, not being anywhere at those times.
Yeah.
Biella resumed. I knew it. I knew it. I knew there was something about it. Remington had said, okay, glad his hunch and intuition had been vindicated, but I wasn't so sure. Not yet quite ready to give up on love and believe the worst. After all, what did we actually have? Nothing. I came up with a dozen possible explanations. Perhaps Mr. C took more pains to disappear because of his charm and oh, sorry.
Read it syllable by syllable.
Sorry?
Read it syllable by syllable, that word.
Okay. Disproportionate number and fans and potential problem fans. Potential problem fans. Wow, okay.
All fans.
Maybe he knew something and was in some way connected, but in a benign or even good way. Like someone he knew was involved and he was on his own trying to catch them or prevent or I simply could not convict or even suspect without anything substantial. But Remington and now also Neera were sufficiently convinced, not having my emotional bias. Well, Neera had said, let's set things up in such a way that we get a result, whether it's true or not. Core impeccability strategy. Yes, I had to agree. You'll now have to do something for us. You'll now have to do something for us. We are going to put pressure on you in such a way that you'll have no option. And if it all turned out just fine and dandy, we'll take their blame with Mr. C.
Right. Look how clever Neera is here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very sophisticatedly strategic. Yes.
Yes.
Right. Biella came and asked them for help, right? And they are helping. But now they're going to say, oh, okay, Beena, you now need to do something for us. And what we're going to do is ask you to do something that you don't want to do necessarily. Yes. And we're going to put pressure on you to do this in such a way that you'll have no option to do it. So they're going to say, look, Beena, this is it. Sorry, our friendship here now demands that you do this, whatever we're going to ask you. Right. And if it all turns out to be just fine and dandy, we'll take the blame with Mr. C. Then, if it all turns out that Mr. C is innocent, then Biella can say, when she explains it, say, look, I didn't have a choice. They pressured me, right? And they really did. And they really are going to pressure her, you see?
Yes. Yes.
But this is a gift, that this pressure that Neera and Remington are going to put on Biella is a gift to Biella, so that Biella is basically in the clear.
Yes.
Should it turn out to be good. Isn't that just beautiful friendship? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Remington, you see.
Yeah, you see. Yeah, thank you.
Remington, you see, in his official capacity, could now act. Remington grinned with such uninhibited, impish mischief, everyone laughed. Yes, he was kind of meany, actually bullying me via the law into compliance with his scheme. He ordered me officially to be part of a sting operation.
You see how brilliant this is, Beena. He ordered me officially. I think I need to emphasize officially here, because Biella's a little bit outraged, right?
Yes.
Well, not really, but really.
Yeah. When designed in such a way to prove guilt or innocence, either way, great idea, Remington. Biella scowled ferociously as the retrospective helpless Remington as the retrospective helpless Remington, except for one little teeny tiny meeny weeny problem. We had no plan whatsoever. Nothing. Blank. Bah. I was to be involved in something which he pressed on me, but had no idea what it would be. Fortunately, we still had some time to come up with a plan and prepare. We brainstormed. Seems our brain had worn themselves out by then.
Right. So I'm doing this on purpose, Beena. I have a plan and I know what the plan is going to be, but I'm purposely not. I could have said, okay, we thought and we came up with this plan and have it to be a bit preemptive, right? But then I end up in a difficult situation where if you share the plan ahead of the time, the execution of the plan is not as exciting and dramatic as it would be if you don't know what the plan is. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So I'm
Biella.
purposely leaving it. I'm
Yes.
purposely creating this now in
Yes.
order to create the drama for when the plan does get implemented, and also a little bit of it's like you've got to do something, but just extra drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Biella reiterated some dialing down the intensity. Fast forward a couple of weeks. I'd invited all my friends, everyone, to be on planet where my new home was for the next couple of months. Mr. C's return would fall into the beginning of this period. Such extensive get togethers were not uncommon on the jewel boxes. Companies existed for the sole purpose of facilitating such well,
Extra.
yes, extravaganzas. Okay, extravaganzas. I had many motives.
Extravaganzas. Yeah.
Extravaganzas. Okay,
Yeah.
extravaganzas. I had many motives. Primarily, the opportunity and means I arranged such a meet was at hand. Always good. Perhaps this would overlap with a more serious announcement. Perhaps, or I had support in case, I didn't know in case of what, but felt good at the time.
Yeah. Okay, so let me read that again there. Perhaps this would overlap with a more serious announcement, perhaps, or I had support in case. Yeah, I need a comma there, right? Or I had support in case. Well, I didn't know in case of what, but felt good at the time. Yeah, it felt good at the time. Yeah. I don't really want to put the it in there, but it felt good at the time. All right, it works. Yeah.
Yes.
I actually prefer it without the it. No.
Yes, but it is good. It is good. It
Yeah,
is actually maintaining the
felt good at
cadence.
time.
It's a bit rhythm there. So
But
it
that's
felt
her
good.
style. That's her style, So I'll stick with it. It's her style. Okay.
Mr. C returned, most delighted with all my friends visiting. Little did I then know why exactly.
Oh,
He
why
charmed.
do you think? Beena is foreshadowing?
Okay,
Yes?
so for me, it is okay when you know someone's friend, you actually know them more, and it is actually very easy to charm them because you know their likes and dislikes, and they're all in and out about with mingling with their friends. So
Yeah,
it's
but knowing what's coming and knowing you already know Mr. C is not going to turn out to be nice. Yeah.
yes.
So now Mr. C returned, most delighted with all my friends visiting. Little did I then know why exactly. The reason you said was the reason she would know then exactly.
Okay.
What reason wouldn't she know exactly that he was delighted that all of her friends were there?
Yeah. Okay.
What reason could there be that Mr. C was delighted that all her friends were there, that she didn't and
Like
couldn't
she's not
know
up to
then?
something. She's not up to something. She's having a good time. She's
Yes, but
busy in
Mr.
her
C,
life.
right, but we're talking about why Mr. C would be happy that all her friends are there for a reason that Biella couldn't know. What reason would he have to be happy that Biella couldn't know? Not then.
I don't know.
He's got an audience for his coming bad deeds.
Oh.
You see? Little did I then know why exactly. See? He was most delighted with all my friends visiting. Oh my goodness, because he's been planning this thing. If he is what they think he is, he's somebody who plans way in advance and long and all, right? So, but he's also an opportunist, obviously. But this is why his BMN-ness is going to say, wow, this is perfect. I'm going to get to do this in front of all her friends. Yeah. Or at least, you know, they're going to be around, they're going to be visiting, they're going to be, you know, not necessarily where they're directly watching, but, you know, at least right in this is like maximum drama for him. Yeah. This is like the ultimate high, especially if he can do it and get away with it. Right. And not only cause her, obviously, you know, death, misery, but also to her friends. See, this is like ultimate bad guy fantasy, no?
Wow. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I like my accent.
He charmed the 10 of them all, of course.
He charmed the 10 of them, off them.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Everyone was delighted with everyone, and everything was everything I could have ever have hoped for.
Oh.
Wow. What a marvelous time that was. Most in the room nodded joyfully, sharing the delight filled memory. Also, much curiosity, as they knew some parts of the story, but obviously much was missing. No one could guess where it was going.
Yeah, where? Yeah, because they don't know. She's never told this part of the story, and you'll see later on why they don't know. Yeah.
Yes. Excuse me, but I have to now venture into some private aspects, but it is essential to the full story, and well, something I'm working hard on doing and being comfortable with. Comfortable with.
Yeah.
But well, it's hard. You see, the time had come for Mr. C and to well, you know, get close. Nora,
For
Nora
Mr.
cheeky.
C and me, it should be and me.
Yeah.
Okay, so will you read that again, please? Because this is hang on. I am working hard on doing and being comfortable. Oh, no. This is the sentence. You see, the time had come. Yeah. So will you read that? That's a Beena sentence. Pure Beena, yeah.
I was actually like saying that how could you even write something for Biella like this? But okay. It's hard. You see, the time had come for Mr. C and me and to well, you know, get close.
She squirms out of it, right? But look at the previous sentence. Explains your thing. How could I write this for Biella? Because she says something I'm working hard on doing and being comfortable with. But well, it's hard. In other words, to share more personal stuff. You know, like other people, they can talk about this stuff, no problem. You know, but for Beena, not so much. I mean, for Biella, well, and Beena, not so much, right? So.
Yes.
So you see how come this comes in, because you know Biella's stretching herself a little bit. Yes, see.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, Nora.
Nora, cheeky winks that she was, ventured in the sweetest, most innocent voice any cherub would be.
Yeah, cherub. Yeah.
Yeah, cherub would be jealous of. But Biella, surely you were already close to Mr. C. You were in love, were you not?
The cheeky minx, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nora, Biella blasted.
Yeah.
Nora, Biella blasted to howls of delight for them all. You know very well what I mean.
You know very well what I mean, you know. She's obviously enjoying Nora's tease of her, right?
Yes, you know very well what I mean. Order perhaps restored, Biella continued with a prissy tight pinch of the lips,
Right, see?
preemptively attempting to discourage Nora in any way.
Yeah. She's now, overcompensating, with some histrionics, right? Because this is what they do, now she, just having some fun a little bit. Yeah.
Randolph, I'd found time to have him alone to myself for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Extremely difficult in the circumstance. The constant demands of all my friends and many of his also, who'd come to meet my friends, made alone time a rarity. Randolph, I've been thinking. He smiled such charming mischief, I could scarcely continue. He didn't
Okay, so
even
hang on a second. Yeah, I gotta do this, right? I'm not sure if I should put the little star in here to indicate somewhat of a change of scenery. Because now this is Randolph
yes.
Biella's talking directly to Mr. C, obviously, right? So I think
Yes.
I need to do this.
Okay. Yes.
Still got to go down one and then put this. Make it in the center and put the star.
But this
Okay.
is not actually. She's saying that I'd found time to have him alone to myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. So it's not really a break in time. Okay, yeah, you're right. It's just a new paragraph. Just needs to be
Yes.
some space. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I found time to have him alone to myself for a few minutes, extremely difficult in the circumstance. The constant demands of all my friends and many of his also, who would come to meet my friends, made alone time a rarity. Randolph, I have been thinking. He smiled, so charming mischief, I could scarcely continue. He didn't even need to say something, like Nora would, out loud, maybe. Why, Biella? Let me hear.
She teases Nora back a bit there, right?
Yes. Why, Biella? Let me hear all about it. Nora, to Biella's delight, exhibited evident disappointment at the non-tease. I would like to, well, you said you leave it completely up to me. Okay. You leave it completely up to me.
You'd said you'd leave it completely up to me.
Well, you said you'd leave it completely up to me. Is that still so? I mean, you still want, yes, sweetheart of mine, I do, as much as ever. And yes, it's still up to you. When, where, how, in what was. Well, just all your choice. Yes. I sighed in relief, blushing in view of a miffed sunset somewhere. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay, I sighed in relief, blushing in
Sighed in
view
relief.
of a sunset somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Some sunset is hey, you stole my for your blush. Yeah.
This is okay. I like that. Before I read a sentence, someone was okay. It was in Urdu poetry, but the guy who was trying to explain the complexion of that woman, like when he first time he confessed his love to her, and she blushed, and he says that it seems like, you know what sindoor is, the red color, the red pigment Hindu woman used to put in their parting in their head and on their forehead. Yes, the red color. It's a very typical pigment, color pigment. It's called sindoor. And he says that she looks like that someone mixed the sindoor in a all-purpose flour.
Say that again.
He says that she looks like that someone mixed the sindoor with all-purpose flour, the white flour.
Oh,
yeah. So someone makes that sindoor, and you can imagine that how it might look like when you mix that. So it was like that, but to mix that sindoor with this white flour. But this one is I like that. This was miffed sunset somewhere. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, blush. The sunset is miffed because the blush has stolen it, right?
Yes. 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 I know. Prudence as my. Okay. Yes. I know. Prudence as my alter ego is anomalous, but well, politeness, I'll make the arrangements. That's what I have been thinking about. His eyebrows rose suggestively, invitingly, resolved, eliminatingly. No, I mean something special to add to it all. I'm determined to make our special event very, very special indeed. Oh, my Biella, that's why I love you.
Biella.
Oh, my Biella, that's why I
love you. No, not oh, my Biella. Oh, my, comma.
Okay. Oh, my Biella, that's why I love you so. Always surprises on top of surprises. Okay. I set a date in the middle of a week when Remington
Neera and crew from Old Glory would be staying over in my home. Now, much expended, nothing said to anyone. Just that particular night, nothing scheduled. And on that particular, where you go.
Sorry. It's right here. That particular night.
Okay, that particular night, nothing scheduled, and on that particular specialness, neither of us would be available. No fuss. Not for this. I had to have everything as unobtrusive as possible, which for me meant completely.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay,
The
I need
night
to-
came.
Okay.
The night came, my aim, an evening as romantic as possible. I'd let Mr. C know my intent. I wanted that entire private wing to be completely covered with candles, and it was. No easy feat, by the way. I had to have extra ventilation and air installed, otherwise, 10,000 candles. Oh, would have led us suffocating.
Too suffocating. Yeah,
Yeah.
you see this thing in the movies, right? So this is just me having a little bit of fun with this nonsense in the movies. Some romantic, and you see candles everywhere, right? You've seen what I'm talking about? Beena?
Yes,
Right.
but
Now-
10,000 is a bit exaggeration there.
Maybe right. But the point is that many candles in a small room, it's not realistic, right? As Biella is going to explain here now, but she's making it realistic, which is of course new nobility thinking and impeccability, right? So anyway, carry on.
Yes. Okay. You have to change the spelling of wanted in the first line of this paragraph. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful effect, but usually as seen in programs, utterly unrealistic. Has anyone tried lighting even 100 candles? Just as well I started preparing.
I got it.
When? Okay. Just as well I started preparing long in advance and had time to change out the regular candles, I found self-igniting candles with a timed wick. Wow. With a timed wick. Wow.
Yeah.
One ordered them set to a specific time. Wow. Just what I needed.
Yeah, because otherwise, by the time you start with the candles, right, and you get to the end, the first candle is all halfway down and melty already. It's very hard to do, when you've got to do it yourself. Of course, on set, they've got all the gophers who go and light all these things and do this. But you yourself, to light even 100 candles, do it in real time. And you see how unrealistic this is. Yeah, anyway.
I spread them in concentric circles. Okay, all the way from the larger.
You know what a
living
concentric
room.
circle is, yes?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
All the way from the larger living room and the smaller surrounding rooms, all moving in. In what it is. In.
All, wait, hang on. All
Second
moving
line.
in. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
she's being dramatic. It's on purpose, right?
Okay.
All the way from
moving
the
in.
larger living room and
In.
smaller surrounding rooms, all moving in.
Yes.
In.
Yes,
Yeah.
until the spiral consummated in the focal point. Consummated in the focal point of the bedroom. I turned off
Deliberate usage of the word consummated.
Okay, yes. Spiral
Right.
consummated.
Right, but
Why?
I mean, for a marriage to be legal, it has to be consummated in most places, right? If
Yes.
it's not consummated, it can be annulled. So I'm using until the spiral consummated. In other words, this word also means in regular usage, it means the end point, the finale, right? Consummated, but it's just like a double meaning, a little bit extra for the romance. Norma would like that thing. Anyway, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Until the spiral consummated in the focal point of the bedroom. This is romance writing, right? That's how they write in romance novels. Yeah.
Wow.
All innuendo and suggestion and all of this, right?
This is interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Where it is, where I was. Okay. Yes. Until the spiral consummated in focal point of the bedroom. I turned off the heat. The candles were more than enough.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Each spiral, a subtle shift of color, progressively more intimate. Oh, like someone is getting like really romantic here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Next, aroma.
Yeah.
Bold, strong sense on arrival, exciting, anticipatory, connecting, hinting, an aromatic dance of promise. Wow.
Yeah, that's putting out all the stops here. I mean, impeccability. Romance might not be her thing, but if she's going to do it, she's going to do it properly, right?
Exactly. Exactly. If
Yeah.
you really
Yeah.
have to, if you really want to.
Yeah. I mean, again, in this case, this is what's happening. There's one part of her that does. There's of course a little tiny de-emphasized part that says, well, maybe, so we'll see. We'll see how she plays it. We'll see how it goes on. Right now, you don't know. Right now, you have to assume
Okay.
that Biella is completely into it, and she is, right? Okay.
Okay. Okay. Just a short side story, right? Okay. One of my friend, okay, it was a tease, and it is a tease that Beena, you are not into this all love thing and all that. And I said, I have a huge box. It's a very strong one. I have, and I'm keeping everything inside that box. Like
Yeah.
they say, what? And I said, like every little beautiful thing, every little beautiful gesture and things and words and actions, everything. I'm just keeping it there safe. And once I will decide with whom I want to share, I'm going to open that box. So this is something exactly what's if someone is not into these type of things usually on surface, but when they do that, it is going to be like up to the mark because they have been holding it for the appropriate time. So this is actually very romantic to keep your things a bit exclusive.
Exactly.
Okay, yes, so then when the time is appropriate, when the person is appropriate and you want to share all these things, then it's a flood of all these things. It is going to be like huge, and this is exactly what she's doing there. Okay, not of course she has these resources. Okay, it depends on, but for me the idea is like that because I have been keeping all my things there.
Yes.
So whenever I'm going to share, it is going to be something huge.
There you go. There you go.
So this is where I feel, yes. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Where it is. Okay.
At the top.
Sound. More tricky. I acquired some directional speakers which can focus sound like a light beam. Stand into the beam and you hear. Outside it, nothing. I set them so they'd coincide with the other senses, overlapping so as not to have this disconcerting abrupt changes.
You actually
Music,
get speakers like this, by the way. It's possible that they put out sound in a beam that doesn't spread out like typical. So you stand in that beam and you stand outside, you don't. So quite amazing.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, like a light beam, same thing. Yeah.
wow.
Isn't that incredible?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. I always thought when I was in the store, right, in the outpost, we were very close to the road, right close there. So, 10 or 12 feet and the cars were right there. And it was a stop sign not too far away from us either. So very often, if there were 3-4 cars, there'd be a car right outside our door. I mean, like I said, from the front door, this would be 15 feet, something like that to the car. And of course, you'd have these, the knuckleheads with their deep bass, boom, 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 and it's the whole place can hear it, right? So I thought,
Yes.
boy, I would like to position one of these speakers right there. Yes, that it's focused on exactly where that and the windows are always open, right? And this would be, and right there on that open window, and it's targeting this driver, and he hears my beautiful classic music, right? And I was like, yeah, now you know what I feel like, punk.
Yes.
It's most appropriate, and at least mine is, you in the beam, when he moves away from it, it's gone. So yeah, but I thought this would be just too brilliant, no? Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
Music like a smell, is very difficult to get right for another. Loads of research went into my chosen choices. I could only hope, touch. I'd line everything on the gradual progression through a planned aperitifs.
Aperitifs, yeah.
Aperitifs.
Aperitifs, you know, yeah, things coming
Planned
beforehand.
aperitifs. Okay. Through the planned aperitifs, meals, drinks, and other taste sensations I had planned. Touch and taste would blend, each progressive experience enhanced by its companions, as incremental crescendo to the most crucial and critical ingestion I had planned.
Okay.
Time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, you see what she's doing. She's engaging all the senses, right?
Yes.
So she's lining her furniture with these beautiful cloths and draperies and, you know, textures. And so as you go more progressively, they get more and more luxurious and sensual, of course, right?
Yes.
But also look, an incremental crescendo to the most crucial and critical ingestion I had planned. And this is not me being clever with words. Yes, a little bitty, but I don't mean it in a naughty sense here. You'll see now what's coming. Yeah. So it's somebody could read it wrong there, and that's fine. You're gonna take it wrong for a while, but then you'll see. Yeah.
Okay. Time. Mr. C was exactly on time, as I had emphasized. He stepped into my parlor. Silence.
Right.
Darkness.
Okay. So there also a little bitty extra nuance. Not everybody is going to necessarily get right. Step into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. So it's a nursery rhyme, right?
Mhm.
But people know this expression, step into my parlor. And then, you know, when you say it to somebody, like if somebody comes to your house and you invite them and say, oh, step into my parlor, then they might add, you know, as the comedy thing, said the spider to the fly, as in there's a potential implement, you know, the implication that, oh, I'm stepping into your parlor, you the spider, I'm the fly, right?
Yes.
So he
yes.
stepped into my parlor. Who's the spider and who's the fly? See?
Interesting.
See?
Yes. Yes.
We already have a suspicion Mr. C might be, and according to Remington and Neera, Mr. C is the spider. But
Yes.
Biella is saying, right, he stepped into my parlor. Yeah.
Yes.
Should I emphasize
Silence.
my?
Yes. Yes.
No, because Biella isn't deliberately looking to trap Mr. C here.
Yes.
She doesn't know if he is or isn't. At this stage, she doesn't know. So it's not like it is a parlor, right? It's a parlor, but not a parlor. So I can't emphasize it. All right, never mind. Carry on.
Okay. As I'd emphasized, he stepped into my parlor. Silence, darkness, nothing. Then light, sound, scent, candles lit themselves. Music gradually rose to delicate volumes. Magical scents wafted in. Mr. C, for once genuinely and pleasantly surprised. Biella, why Biella? I bade
Why
him.
Biella? Right. He's not asking, you know, it's an expression, right? It's an exclamation.
Yeah.
Why Biella? Right.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
I bade him remove his footwear and come to me across the room via the cushions, shams, throws, and various other fabrics of inducement on the path to me. A sensory
Isn't that a
enlightenment.
nice sentence, Beena?
Yes, yes.
Or that
yes,
phrase. And various other fabrics of inducement
yes.
on the path to me. Yeah.
He arrived, awakened by the experience. I rewarded him with a kiss and handed him a beverage, a delicate refresher and appetite stimulant. After some snuggling, whereupon I made it clear rushing was not going to be considered. Okay. Now
After
it's
some
2:20.
snuggling, whereupon I made it clear, rushing was not going to be considered. I think, yeah, I need a,
Yeah,
whereupon I made it.
yeah. Okay, so now it's 2:20.
Yeah.
It's already
Where are we?
late.
Where are we? Oh my goodness, there's still quite a bit here. Okay, so all right, you know, man, I don't want to leave now, but okay, so this time we'll go from time, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. C was, we'll start there because we're just a little bit into it, but we'll have to, you know, to get the mood of it again, we'll start from there, okay? Yeah. All right. Wow, it's very exciting. I don't know how you could possibly stand to leave right now. Well, for me, I can't. When I get all excited into a story, I can't leave it no matter how tired I am. But I know you have to go. So very good that you have the discipline to go to sleep, Beena. Very good. Very good. Very good.
It's not, it's already 2:30,
I
like
know,
almost.
I know. I'm impressed. I was letting it go longer because I was really enjoying the story. But I thought, well, you did sleep very late, didn't you? Oh no, that
Oh,
was
yes,
Norman. Norman
yes,
slept till 10
today.
o'clock.
No,
Oh.
no. I told you that, okay, though I took a nap, still I was sleeping till the afternoon today.
Oh, that's right. You said you did sleep longer too. That's right. So, and
Yes.
Norma did, and I did. We all slept longer.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
is
So that's
something
why I
that,
let it run because she was still sounding fresh. So I thought, okay, so now when you
yes.
go to bed, you fall asleep right away. So okay, first thing tomorrow, please. I want to continue because we're really getting to the exciting climax of the whole story, right? And this is a different story. I mean, yeah, I'm writing very regular excitement, mystery, drama story, right?
Yes.
Yeah, as you'll see in a minute. Because you don't
Okay.
know what's going to happen exactly. You have an idea more or less, but you don't know exactly how it plays out, right? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Fabulous, Beena.
Okay,
Fabulous.
so no, I'm just reading what Shar actually.
Right.
Yeah. Becoming
I'm,
unbound
I'm,
is
I'm,
choosing.
I'm really enjoying your reading. Have you noticed, despite the occasional word which you don't know how to pronounce, which is not an issue, in general, how smooth your writing is? Yes, you skip some commas sometimes, but that's just because I think you feel like you can't read it slower. I don't know, somewhere in you feel a little bit of a pressure to read quicker. I do the same thing, but it's not an issue. But have you noticed how smooth your reading is compared to before? And how smooth it is just in general?
Yeah.
You do notice?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, in other words, Beena, if I were to ask anybody of the other participants to read what they hadn't read before, they're going to read it in the same way as you are.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay. Interesting. So we are going to listen to Shar now.
Oh, okay. Screen share.
This is very interesting that Shar's voice is always not clear in her videos. Somehow it is like a bit muffled. Okay, not exactly, but yes, a bit. Maybe she talked very softly. She deliberately talked softly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbound is a choice to live with intent. Now, what makes me the authority on becoming unbound? Discovery and acceptance of all.
I'll just read it rather. I read this already. Yeah.
Okay. So here we have becoming energy saying that choosing is choice to live with intent. Okay, anyway. So becoming unbound is choosing to live with intent. What makes me
Yeah,
the
but she's making a
authority
very
on
good point here.
Yes.
We don't have to live without the parts of ourselves we find distasteful. We can embrace them. That's shadow work right there.
Okay, let me read that again from the beginning. What makes me the authority on becoming unbound? Discovery and acceptance of all parts of myself through awareness.
Yeah.
Unbinding is a process that combines many concepts to release you from the false beliefs left by traumatic experiences. It also is a reunion of all the parts of self, conscious and unconscious, including the parts of self you would rather live without. Including the part of self you would rather live without. Unbinding is awareness of when we are feeling less than lovable and seeking to understand the source. It's acknowledging there is an unconscious part of us that's asking to be validated through insecure attachment. It's acceptance of the parts we would rather live without, but we don't have to live without the parts of ourselves we find distasteful. We can embrace them
as tools.
Where it is?
Right there, unbinding.
Yes. We can embrace them. Unbinding can repurpose what we believe to be our undesirable qualities or traits to work for us toward a specific intent, to meet a need by giving and receiving the validation of self love. Unbinding is the application of intent to meet the whole self with love, compassion, and understanding, even when you believe you aren't worthy.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. This is just she's just this is a repeat back of what I said in the chat there.
That's why she mentioned you, of course. Yes.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. I said don't, you just share the stuff, make it your own, share it. That's the problem. Yeah.
No, but it is good. It is good.
Yeah, she does give me a nod. But again, I do like it when it comes, because it's useful from a business point of view, and that's the only reason I do like it. Yeah. So yeah, you have to click on comments here, I think, to see. Click on comments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I want to actually respond to that, because where it is.
Yeah. I was going to say, go to the left underneath the video and click on comment there and see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Let's click on all comments.
This is what I did.
Click now. All comments and see what happens. No, it didn't come. No. Okay. So yeah, on there where you were now, on the left-hand side, where the like is, click on the comment there. No, more left. Left and down. Go left with your cursor, more left, left, go left. Yeah, there. Yeah. No?
See?
Yeah,
No.
then click on the X out of this and go to it where it is the announcement. Click on the big X on the top left-hand corner. This is a very weird place. You're under the watch heading, the big top left next to the F. Yeah. And go to Beena's timeline, and or go to your announcements. Yeah, go to the announcements and see where she said.
I will not have announcements there.
Yeah, why not? A notification, I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Notification.
Yeah, try that one and see. Oh no, it comes back to this. I don't know why it does it for you and not for me. When I get to things, I come differently. But yeah, at least you can comment now, right? Yeah. So there you're seeing the comments where she tags us, you see?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I might respond tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not right now.
I'll respond now. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So because it is your daytime, not mine.
Yes, I know. Sleep magically and sleep suspensefully, Beena.
Oh.
Because that's where we left the story, with the suspense starting to build a little bit. Not almost, but starting a little bit, yes?
If you are going into much detail, then I'm going to just read it and then we skip it. Okay.
Read what and skip?
If you are going into very detail.
Oh no. Okay. It's all been narrated. Yeah.
Okay. Then it's good.
Yeah. No, it doesn't get there. You'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. There's maybe a lot of innuendo and stuff like that, but yeah, if you feel need to skip, you skip. It's not a problem. But I specifically wrote it, keeping Beena in mind. Yeah. I mean, Mr. C says something ugly, but it has to be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At some point he's going to say something ugly, right? Because he has to reveal himself. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the type of person he is. So it is going to be somehow revealing.
Exactly.
And
it's all been narrated.
But this is what I have learned. Like, you cannot understand people unless you hear them when they are in any closeness to someone. The language they use is the most potent to understand what type of a person he is. Actually, or she is, both.
Yeah.
So it's all there. Okay, so gotta go now.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Yes. Bye-bye, Beena. Like I said,
And sleep.
sleep suspensefully and anticipatorily. It's fun coming. There's fun coming, Beena. I enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed the story. Yeah,
Yes.
very cool.
Okay. Bye for
All
now.
right. Bye-bye, Beena. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.